Greetings to my fellow audience. My name is Lim Wing Shen from University Malaysia Sabah. Today I would like to present the findings of my research with the title Feasibility of Natural Salt Licks for Wildlife Watching in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve, Sandakan, Sabah. For your information, chances for the visitors to view large free-roaming mammals at a natural setting is higher at a natural salt lick compared to the other forested area in Malaysia. Henceforth, natural salt licks are promoted as wildlife watching hotspots in certain protected areas of Malaysia, such as Taman Negara National Park in Pahang, Ulu Muda Forest Reserve at Kedah, and Tabin Wildlife Reserve at Sabah. Recently, natural salt licks were discovered in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve, and then certain mammal species were reported visiting to the given licks frequently. Since there is a potential for developing the given licks into wildlife watching hotspot in Sabah, hence this study aims to determine the mammal species that are available for wildlife watching at the natural salt lick in this forest reserve. Presently, Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve is managed as a Class 2 Commercial Forest Reserve by KTS Plantation Sdn Bhd. In this study, 4 natural salt licks were selected from 3 different forest types, which is plantation forest, least disturbed natural forest, and selective log natural forest as sampling area of this study, as well as the potential wildlife watching hotspot for this forest reserve. As you can see, this map shows the locations of the 4 selected salt licks in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve, in which these salt licks are situated near to the main road and Sungai Rawak. Then, here are the image of the 4 selected salt lick, in which the yellow circle shows the mineral springs that attract the local mammal community to the given licks. In this study, camel trapping survey was conducted from July until November 2019. Camel traps that were equipped with passive infrared sensors were used to capture the photographs of mammal individuals that visit to the 4 selected licks, using the settings and configurations as mentioned here. Several parameters were derived from the photographs taken by camera traps for each detected mammal species, such as their scientific names, detection frequency, relative abundance index, times of day, and their species traits. And then, 2 statistical analyses were applied in this study using RStudio at 95% confidence interval level. Within 197 trap nights, 676 independent sightings of 12 different mammal species were recorded. And then, through chi-square tests, different species of mammal were determined with different abundance at the 4 selected licks. At the same time, the non-carnivorous threatened at large-sized mammal species were determined to make up the majority of the detected mammal individuals at the natural salt lick in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve. Plus, highest detections frequency of mammals were recorded at Salt Lick 59 that was surrounded by selective log natural forests, and also during night time, which ranged from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Table 1 shows the list of mammal species that were recorded in this study, along with their respective feeding guides, body sizes, IUCN Red List statuses, and RAI values. Next, Figure 2 clearly displays the ranking of the 12 recorded species according to their RAIs. As you can see, the Sambadillo and bearded pig could be sighted at least once per day, and then orangutan and bunting were viewable about once per 5 days, hence making them the top 4 viewable species at natural salt licks in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve, unlike the 2 carnivorous civet species that were only observed once here. Here are the images of the top 4 viewable mammal species at natural salt licks in this forest reserve, which is Sambadillo and followed by the bearded pig, orangutan, and bunting. And this slide shows the 6 mammal species that were less viewable compared to the top 4 species. Since the images taken by camera traps for the 2 civet species were unclear, hence their images were not displayed here. Next is the findings of the correlation analysis, in which large-sized mammals that visit to the natural salt licks in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve were likely to be threatened species, and then the RAI of a mammal species at the licks were dependent towards its body size, IUCN status, and feeding guide, thus further support the findings of chi-square tests of this study. According to several past findings, the large-sized non-carnivorous mammal species in Borneo were threatened species that required high mineral intake on a daily basis, hence explain the high detection frequencies of the large-sized threatened Sambadia, bearded pig, orangutan, Asian elephants, and banteng at natural salt licks in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve. Besides that, Wen et al. 2017 reported that selective logging could increase the availabilities of food and shelter, which can subsequently increase the abundance and species diversity of wildlife present at a habitat at a time. Additionally, Black et al. 2013 highlighted that wildlife community avoid visiting to salt licks that were surrounded by heavily disturbed environments. These past findings actually supports the finding of this study, in which higher detection frequency of mammal was obtained at SL59 that was surrounded by selective log forests, compared to the other three licks that were either surrounded by least disturbed forests or plantation forests. Moreover, certain mammal species are more active during nighttime, which can lead to a higher detection frequency of mammal at natural salt lick during nighttime. In fact, most of the 12 recorded mammal species could be observed at the natural salt lick in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve during nocturnal hours, except 3 diurnal species, which were orangutan, pigtail macaque, and red-leaf monkey. Actually, the sighting of red-leaf monkey at salt licks in Borneo was recorded for the first time in this study, since this arboreal species rarely visit to salt licks. Thus, it could only serve as a unique species in attracting tourists to visit to Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve. On the other hand, the top 4 viewable species could be sighted frequently at the licks, thus suitable to be promoted as core attractions, while the remaining 7 species could serve as additional attractions that motivate tourists in visiting to this forest reserve for wildlife watching at the natural salt licks. In conclusion, natural salt licks in Segaliud-Lokan Forest Reserve are feasible for conducting wildlife watching activity, in which Sambadia, bearded pig, orangutan, and banteng are serving as core attractions, and then red-leaf monkey can be promoted as a unique or local attractions. Preferred salt lick and time of day for conducting wildlife watching activity in this forest reserve are determined to be at SL59 and during nocturnal hours. This research is conducted as part of the collaboration project between the Sabah Forestry Department, University Malaysia Sabah, and KTS Plantation Sendirian Berhad, funded by the External Collaboration Research Grant and Postgraduate Research Grant. And here is the list of references that I have used in my presentation. Well, that's all from me. Thank you for your attention.